Hi y'all, Kraken Latte here. So, as my longtime viewers may know, my favorite way to get gold is by farming old instances. I've gone over my reasons for that, and I've covered what raw gold is in a previous video, linked in the description below and on the upper right now. I'm also in the middle of testing the rest of the expansions to finish up my little report series. So, I felt it was time to share some tips on how to make running old content faster. So kick back, grab a coffee, and let's go through a fairly jumbled list of tricks I've compiled. But first, let's give a big thank you to my newest patrons, Stephen Parsons, Lady.Jade Knight, Thule, and Shell Kiro Ulrich. Thank you so much for your support, and welcome to the Kraken crew. Alright, let's get into it. I'll go through all these categorically since that seems to be the easiest way to look at this. So let's start with the obvious but still important tips. 1. Be 120. The higher level you are, the faster you can clear old content and the less restricted you are to what you can run. Along that same line of thinking is number 2. Be somewhat geared. I don't mean god tier mythic raider, but a minimum of the highest world quest gear is the easiest to get. Higher than that is fine too, of course, but it can come at a price. Sometimes killing a boss too fast will glitch out the encounter and prevent you from finishing or leaving somehow. And I know most of you are saying, duh Kraken, to these first 2 tips, but I've been asked these same questions a lot more than you think. In the way of gear, BFA's Azurite armor has the long strider and vampiric speed traits. These increase your movement speed. Plus, gear also has a chance to roll a plus speed bonus on its stats, so keep an eye out for those. Talking about speed gear, there is a way to go absolutely ham on this and get crazy speed. I've never done it, but WTBGold has an in-depth look on how to do so, linked in the description below. Plus, he talks about the diminishing returns on speed gear and how some things do and don't stack, so please give that a look as he is far more knowledgeable on the topic than I am. Continuing on with things I do know, the next category will be getting out faster. First, the self-kill macro. I've shared this tip before, but it really is quite valuable. Make sure to delete your Hearthstone, and then when you use this, it will kill you and you'll be ported to the last checkpoint. I say it like this as each instance has different rules. Some take you to the last boss, some take you to the entrance, and some kick you out entirely to the graveyard. As a note, dying by this macro will not damage your armor. Usually. But this next way will. Die by jumping off something high or by standing in lava. This will damage your armor. So this is where you'll want to create a get naked set to quickly take all your armor on and off. Once you've made that set, you can actually use a macro to activate it. Mine's just called naked, so it looks like this. Another way to get out of those pesky dead-end dungeons is by making a group with the group finder, then leaving that group. Make sure to leave, not disband. Then give it a few seconds and it will begin a 1-minute countdown that will kick you out of the instance. I can't stress enough to make sure that you do this after you've cleared everything. Joining a group, even if you're the only one in it, will often change the loot rules in many instances, and prevent you from getting the legacy loot you're owed for being solo. Last in this category would be to use your class hall portal if you have one. Death Knights, Druids, and Monks can all use their class port from Legion to get to their hall and then back again, which will usually put you at the entrance. The Mage Hall port is a one-way, I'm afraid, so you can portal out, but not back. Similar to this thinking would be using certain portals and portal items to get around faster. A lot of time spent on old content is just getting there. For this topic though, I'll be covering in another video since there are a lot of tasty goodies that you can use to port around. Next up, we got speed items. First off, there are quite a few items that you can use to give you a speed boost. Speed gems from BFA are a start if you have free gem sockets. You can wear 1 straddling Viridium and 1 straddling Sage Agate. It's a pretty small boost, but it's something. Then there are potions, like the Potion of Speed, Swiftness Potion, and Drainic Swiftness Potion, many of which are craftable by alchemy and purchasable on the auction house. My favorite one for both use and cool appearance is the Skystep Potion. This is a Legion one and often is a bit spendier, but I think it's worth it. Gun shoes are another useful, if a bit hilarious, item that work great for a speeds boost. These come from engineering and are also purchasable on the auction house. Bear tartare is a food that you can eat for a speed buff. It works when you kill an enemy. and you can extend this buff with the crispy bacon food. Similarly, you can use Fighter Chow on Warlocks. Fighter Chow restores health when you're not in combat, so I like to use it for extended Burning Rush. The crispy bacon extends this food buff too. And similar to the Bear Tartare, there is the spiced Falcosaur omelet, but this only works on the Broken Isles. Don't stop at just profession items though. There are special things you can snag that are not craftable and are super useful. My favorite would be the cracked Radinax control gem from Argus. You get to surf on a tiny Legion ship for a few seconds at an incredible speed. What's not to love? Now let's look at abilities. This one is both about killing faster and moving faster. First, class abilities. Whatever class you play, you have something that can speed you up. Whether it's the Mage's Shimmer or the Rogue's Sprint, use that ability when it's off cooldown. Check your talents and racial abilities too. For example, Zandalari can have Gonk as their Loa for a constant 5% speed increase. Non-feral druids can take the feral talent for a constant 15% speed increase. You get the idea. And the best part is all of these stack. So Zandalari Druid with Gonk gets 20% extra movement speed. But make sure to take a look at your AoE and ranged abilities too. We don't care about high-end DPS here, so take the talents that make large groups of mobs die faster. And don't forget about your essences and corruptions. These will only work while BFA is live, far as I know, but more often than not, the expansion's power feature, whatever it is, works in old content too. So, for now, you can meme beam wherever you want. And last for abilities would be professions. Most notably, Engineering's Nitro Boost Tinker. Only engineers can use this, but it's a sweet speed boost that I like to give to my poor Death Knights and Warlocks. There's probably other profession-related speed boosts I'm not aware of though, so make sure to take a look at what you have. Now for some more technical but kinda random stuff. If you're not in a current expansion instance, you can pretty much pull mobs like mad. For the most part, but not all, so make sure you test this before you commit, mobs in older instances won't reset regardless of how far you run from them. I use this method in Skyreach. Dragging all the trash to each boss and then AoEing them down with the boss shaves off precious seconds that add up. But make sure you test this in the instance you're running. This rule doesn't apply everywhere. Skipping trash you know isn't lootable or gives very, very little loot is another time saver. Some mobs and instances just won't drop loot, ever, and others drop so little it really isn't worth your time. An example would be most of the trash in Blackrock Foundry. A lot of it isn't lootable due to a nerf years ago that changed it, so I actually skipped most all of the trash. Of course, some trash is required to progress in an instance, but you'll learn this from experience. Using class abilities that provide stealth or an aggro drop are great for this. Druids, rogues, hunters, and mages all have stealth or invisibility. Mages can blink through mobs. Warlocks can gate past things. Hunters, rogues, and night elves can all drop aggro when in combat. You get the idea. On top of that, grab some invisibility potions. It doesn't matter which ones. They're all good to sneak past some pesky time-eating trash. And the last tip I can think of to speed up your run would be to check and see if you can mount while inside the instance. Some instances have an outside portion that will let you mount up, like the entrance of Hellfire Citadel or the bridges of Shadowpan Monastery. Knowing when and where you can mount inside an instance will save you a lot of time. And I think that's it. These are all the things I use to speed up my runs, but there is certainly a lot more out there. If you've got tricks that I didn't cover, share it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, it's never too latte. And that's it. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and poke that bell for more Coffee Field content. Leave a comment down below if you liked it, and remember, it's never too latte.